Welcome, everyone, to Talk to the Experts for Trusted Regina, who suggest they're going to save you time and save you the hassle and save money. Who doesn't want to save money? A locally trusted Regina team that is clearly committed to finding outstanding businesses to work with and be confident in, and you want to know who to trust. Well, then you ask Trusted Regina. Sarah Wheelwright is the founder and joins me now. Sarah, this is an incredible company that has made such a difference in local business.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Tell me a little more about it, what you're doing here.
Essentially, we support local. I know Royal gets behind that. Have done for the last 11 years. We find local businesses that are really outstanding for their service levels. And we basically do our best job to tell the local public about why they should choose them. And they can find them all on trustedregina.com.
Now, look, you've even brought some of these fine businesses that work with you. I'll let you do the introductions.
Yes, indeed. We have 3 real estate experts. We have Ryan Boughen, who is with TMG as a mortgage broker, our best mortgage broker in Regina. We have Robert Mackay from Mackay, McLean Law Firm, who just loves real estate. And we have James Wruth from Remax Crown Real Estate here in Regina as well, who's an awesome realtor here in Regina.
Well, I'm going to challenge you now, James, right off the bat, because we've got a ton of questions that have been given to us. Oh, Sarah, before I go further, everyone who's asked a question is going in a draw at the end of the show today. What can they win?
Absolutely. They will win pair of tickets to the sold-out John Thorogood show at the Casino Regina.
Let's get to these questions here. Let's start with you, James. Nathan Clarihew asked, when it's time to sell your starter home to move to something else better, what would be the process and what would make the easiest for the first-timer?
Yeah, sure, Greg. That's a great question, and it's a great position to be in as a homeowner. We all want to be there at some point in time where you've built some equity in your home, and you want to capitalize on that. You want to move into that newer home, the bigger home, the neighborhood you've always wanted to live in, whatever the case may be. And, you want that experience to be a positive one, and it's not necessarily easy because there's some work to do. But when you make that decision to move, most homeowners really are completing 2 separate tasks. They need to sell the home that they're in for the most amount of money that they can under favorable conditions and complete that sale as smoothly as possible. And then second, they need to buy a home, not just any home, but the home that they've always been dreaming about. And, they want to get that at the best price possible under the most favorable conditions. And let's do that smoothly. And let's do both of those things in a short amount of time. So it's not necessarily just the easiest of tasks. And so when you say, how do we do that smoothly? I would say this. Number 1, have a great team of people behind you. Have a great real estate agent. Have a great mortgage broker. Have a great lawyer behind you. So you need that team of people that you can trust, that you've built a rapport with, helping you navigate that process. And really, it does start with the realtor in most cases. And you want a realtor who's an expert at both buying and selling a home. And you want one realtor, who can do both those jobs for you, who's going to understand your needs, who has a proven track record, and can really navigate you through that process. And so I would say that's the number 1 tip on that front.
Well, look, when we need a mortgage broker, we have one handy here. Ryan, I'll come to you. Leanne Marie Robinson is asking, is it difficult to get approved for a mortgage? And what is needed to qualify? How much money do I need to make? There's a lot of questions, so I'll let you take it.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's always a lot of questions when somebody is looking at buying a home, especially for the first time. I'm not going to lie, it is difficult to get approved for a mortgage. There's lots of things that need to be in place. We need to look at what you're making for income. You need to have a down payment available, and there's lots of different ways to come about doing that. Your credit has to be established and in good shape. And, we're also looking to make sure that, financially, you've hopefully got, any previous, a number of previous debts, taken care of so that when you want to take on purchasing a home, that you're doing it, in the best way possible. It's a new responsibility. Taking care of, credit card debts and lines of credit and stuff like that can really help alleviate some stress when you're going forward and looking at, the responsibilities and costs with.
Leanne, I think we got your question answered there. Thank you, Ryan. I want to go to Robert Mackay now. Robert, Leonard Yuzichipi has asked, explain rent to own in less than 30 seconds. No, you have a little more time than that. But rent to own, what is it?
Well, rent to own is a form of vendor financing where the parties agree upon the price for a particular property, a possession date, and the term or how long it will take for the purchaser to pay the property off. Typically, the buyer receives possession of the property at some point, and in exchange, the buyer will pay to the seller a monthly agreed-upon amount. The seller retains ownership of the property until all payments are made. The amount is similar to a mortgage payment or a rental payment, if you want to think about it that way, hence the term rent-to-own. Sometimes the payment includes principal and interest, and sometimes it is just payments that go towards the purchase price. It's typically, though, used by sellers who are somewhat desperate for a buyer and lack a down payment or perhaps a good credit rating. It's not an uncommon way for people to buy property or convey property, but it is perhaps one of the riskier ways to go about buying and selling real estate. The seller risks giving possession over their asset, which is usually worth six figures or a few $100,000. Comparatively, the buyer risks that the sale of the property may go to someone else unexpectedly if they don't properly look after and protect their interests. And it's sometimes done as a way to avoid dealing with lawyers and realtors.
What?
I know, it's surprising.
James, don't listen to this.
The problem is people often risk overpaying for a property because they'll pay a premium for getting into it that way. And the parties often, because they don't retain these specialists, they risk not protecting their rights and interests in the transaction. And if conflicts arise, you're often forced into King's Bench, which is an expensive way to go.
Yes, I could understand that. And Leonard, I think we got your question answered there. Ryan Boughen is here, TMG mortgage broker. Robert Mackay, Mackay and McLean law firm, and James Wruth, realtor for Remax Realty. James, I want to come back to you. Trina Helfrich is asking, is it a buyer or seller's market right now?
Well, in general, I'll explain the difference between a seller's and a buyer's market. So a strong seller's market would be when you have a lot of buyers trying to purchase homes. There's lower amounts of inventory in the market for those buyers. And sellers generally have more negotiating power. And as such, we see home prices on the rise. The opposite of that would be a buyer's market, and where we'd have fewer buyers out in the market, lots of homes for sale, fewer options for buyers. And buyers have more negotiating power in that situation, and prices tend to be lowering. So, at certain times, we can be somewhere in the middle where we might have a balanced market where things are pretty balanced between buyers and sellers and amounts of inventory. And when I look at data right now in the market and the numbers and what they tell me, it's interesting, so every month I compile data, I put it out on my website, and it speaks to number of new listings, how many sales, average sale price, days on market, all these types of indicators. And what it tells me right now is we're moving out of a little bit of a seller's market and into a balanced market. So yes, we have low inventory levels in the market right now, but we do have some reduced activity from buyers, and things are pretty balanced that way. And so things are on a pretty level playing field.
You're listening to Talk to the Experts for Trusted Regina. My guests are Sarah Wheelwright. And Sarah, you've assembled these businesses, and we're going to take a break here in a minute. We've got a lot more questions, and stick around. At the end of the show, we're going to give away a prize to everyone who asks questions.
Absolutely are. Going to win a pair of tickets to the sold-out George Thorogood show at the Casino Regina.
All right, right back with Talk to the Experts. Don't go away.